So thanks for being here. And what I'm so excited about this whole partnership is what AudioStack brings to the table. The opportunity to have automated creative production at such a high quality output. This is what all of our clients have been telling us. Well, we would love to work with you, Claritas, but we need someone that can produce all this content from an audio perspective. And so we are now able to bring AudioStack to the table to produce exponential amount of content that is high quality and automated and can get you launched in less than 4 weeks.
Fantastic. And from our end, the reason why this is such a great partnership is because Claritas brings this real-time optimization of the actual creative that the end consumer will actually listen to. So having the ability to waste no impressions and really teaming up impressions and creativity together to really create a personalized or hyper-charged personalized audio content.
Yeah, and so between the two of us, we are able to deliver to a client every single impression optimized, and every single impression has the opportunity to get the creative that they deserve or they prefer. And so between the two of us, we are able to deliver that. So it's truly a supercharged opportunity for our brands that we're working with.
And it's all underpinned by using AI as a tool in both the creative optimization as well as the creative production itself.
Yeah.
And constantly evolving throughout the campaign, so it's not static, it's actually ever evolving and therefore really enhancing what the traditional way of dynamic creative optimization actually is. And in my perspective, or our perspective, really elevating that to the next level of the possibilities for brands.
Yeah, everyone gets nervous about AI, but we're using AI as a tool for what it's best at. So in our perspective, we're using AI to make a decision in real time based on data. Mm-hmm. And then from your perspective, you're using AI?
From our perspective, we're using AI to create complex versioned audio content that previously wasn't possible because it is not possible to create hundreds or thousands of creative variants at the same speed and cost and scale in terms of doing that. So an AI AudioStack kind of deliver that across all three aspects. With lower production cost, higher speed, we can create a 30-second asset in 20 seconds. On average, so it's actually faster that you can speak it, but also constantly have the ability to optimize and change the creative output.
So in 10 seconds or less, if you had a conversation with someone exiting an elevator, so not even in an elevator, what would you want them to know about AudioStack?
You have now the ability to truly automate and personalize audio content, which hasn't been done before previously, utilizing AI.
Yeah, and then from our perspective, we want everyone to know that we can optimize that ad to every single impression in the paid media campaign. This is why this is such an awesome partnership that two different companies working in the AI space are coming together.
Absolutely. I feel like it's like puzzle pieces that come together.
Yep.
Whilst we provide the puzzle pieces, you put them together to create the best image.
Like when we are having a client conversation about using our technology, we're saying, hey client, we want to help you optimize your creative. Their first response, maybe the first or second, response to us is, well, we don't have enough creative, or we don't have the time to produce the creative, or we don't have the money to produce the creative.
Or the expertise as well.
And so we've literally said, we have a solution for you, which is where AudioStack comes in to say, we can take your existing creative and essentially scale that to assets. So why don't you talk about how you guys do that?
Absolutely. There's two kind of main ways. It's either when there's already a generic asset existing, we could create an AI digital twin of that. So we can replicate the music, match a voice that's very similar to that, and then create from that a lot of different versions. Or you can start from scratch, writing and creating an AI script and then version that with the right music, with the right voice, and then able again to deliver lots of different versions and variants that then you guys can implement and then deliver.
Yeah, so when you think about an audio ad, there's a variety of elements of an audio ad. Let's take a 30-second spot, a generic 30-second spot. There's going to be 25 seconds of that might be the main script. You might have a 3-second call to action. You might have a 2-second legal. And then you're going to have layers. You're going to have a voiceover, like what that voiceover talent is. You're going to have possibly music as a background. You might have sound effects. And so what you're saying is we can take a single file and pull it apart.
Absolutely. It's almost like looking at it from a almost 4-dimensional if you take the script into it. So it's around the content, the voice, the production element, and delivery itself that we can all optimize and interchange, and therefore then create more versions, more efficiencies within that.
Yeah, so now imagine so you take one file and you make it 60 files, and all those files have different aspects or elements. what we are then able to do is find literally the exact cohort at the right time, at the right place, truly for the right message. And traditionally, this will be done what's called DCO through a decision tree. Nothing wrong with decision trees or traditional DCO, but that is a human predetermined subjective process, and it typically is a one decision or the other. It is just like the wedding, you get one or the other, you get fish or meat. Just like most DCO platforms and decision trees are, it's morning or afternoon. And everyone gets that same creative. Or we can say, not only is it morning, afternoon, it's what is the voiceover, what's the music background, what's the call to action, what's the main script. And all of those are going to go into a decisioning process that our AI will be able to help decide what impression gets what content at the right time. And it will evolve and learn. So we need content in order for our AI to optimize, which is key to this partnership.
Absolutely. For me, it's like all around the flexibility, right? If you don't put any limitation on production or optimization, actually everyone wins in that situation. And if I just pull some examples from a creative perspective, imagine multiple voiceovers, testing out voices, male, female, different types of ages of voices, different types of sound of voices, language.
Yep.
If you think of different audience, plus on top of that, all of those kind of categories that you earlier mentioned of how an ad is structured, of a main body, call to action, and so forth. That's what you were saying earlier around you set everything up and then you let it run for an X amount of time. And I think that is also something to really highlight of this partnership. It's like it's the side of thing of producing content with no limitation, of using your AI tooling to optimize the creative most effectively with no limitation, but also have an ability as the campaign is running to actually optimize consistently throughout and constantly delivering best creative and best placement.
Yeah, so often, I swear, you get so much time gets spent into the launch. You spend six months getting launched or whatever it is. And then once you're launched, it's like, we forgot about everything. But this ability allows us to say, here is the different content and pieces that work for different cohorts, and here's how to make them better.
What does it take to actually set it up? Because that's very simple as well. Right? We would operate across like how a campaign would be set up, a creative briefing. We'd create lots of different versions, which then you implement and actually deliver. And from a costing perspective, it's also a huge reduction in production cost, but also actually delivery cost itself.
Yeah, we're working together right now with a brand that we've said we'll get you up in 4 weeks or less.
Yes.
And that's what we're saying. So we will do all of this that we're talking about here in 4 weeks or less. So there aren't the heavy decision trees that take a long time. It is just give us the content. Whatever you guys want to run, give us the content and let our AI optimize based on data signals that it sees and every single impression that it sees in the campaign.
Absolutely. And most of that, like 4 weeks and less, is actually more of the setup itself, right? Talking about AI, talking some of the guardrails, the safety and security, but actually once it's running, it's actually can be instantaneously.
Yeah, it's less on the actual technical setup and more on discussions that are having, so it can be even faster.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What often happens is you get one voice for an audio spot or even a video spot. You get one voice or maybe two voices. That's supposed to represent an entire population. Hundreds of millions of people are listening to the spot, and we're going to put one or the other. So the idea that AudioStack can come in here and help represent so many different populations and diversities and cultures for an advertising campaign is critical. But then there's the what do you do with that? And so the ability to take all of those different files and audio scripts and accents and voiceovers and different talents and then optimize it, it's the best of both worlds. So we can really supercharge our brands that we work with, their paid media campaigns.
Absolutely. And I guess you and I know, coming from agency background as well, that brands want personalization and they want to scale it, but it's incredibly difficult, and specifically in audio, because there's still are so many limitations when it comes to optimization, but also the creative and production itself.
Yeah, just time. Like, how long did it take or does it take to stand up your traditional decision tree campaign? Is you've got to have someone essentially develop all those nodes and then have someone create all the content for those nodes. And then you have to have the media bought in a specific way, and then you have to QA it. And then what do? Then it's live. Do you manage it? Do you change it? Do you evolve it? You likely don't. And so it just sits there for 30, 60, 90 days, whereas our ability to say, give us all the content, we don't have the decision trees, and let AI optimize and learn over that same time period, we'll get better and better and better. It's a perfect synergy in all honesty. That's why we both saw, we had our initial conversation, we're both like, yes, let's get this done, let's figure out a partnership because this makes too much sense.
Yeah, I think it's utilizing AI for the right reasons, right? For the right tooling, for the right to generate the best amount of value and benefits for the end consumer as well as the brand itself.
Yeah, when I was walking over here too, I was thinking about. I guess I like to use analogies. I don't know why, but I was thinking about you're sifting for gold, and so AI a couple of years ago it was the initial what you have on the palette. It's tons and tons of muck and different rocks, and what we're doing right now is truly sifting. We're trying to get through all the noise and all the, everyone says AI all day long to everyone on LinkedIn. You've had a million AI messages, but we're sifting through to find what are the proper tools that we can use for brands and marketers in the AI space. And so what we've done here is we've sifted. We have optimization that truly is a tool. We have creative production that is truly a tool that we're kind of coming above and finding those nuggets of gold, if you will. And that's what we're trying to do here.
Absolutely. And I also like to point a little bit more out around the part when the campaign is live, right? That's what you were saying earlier. So we can always then work with brands and clients and agencies to consistently improving across their KPIs.
Right. It's not just a finite campaign, a finite window. It's how do we do something for a year or 2 years, and what is that roadmap? And a realistic way of activating the creative using a constant variation of audio production and constant optimization from Claritas. It's a perfect partnership. Ultimately, what we are trying to do is give a brand better performance.
Absolutely.
That's the end goal. How do we maximize your performance? We're doing that with personalized content, always on optimization, bringing them together. Brand gets better return on ad spend, lower costs, CPMs, and then obviously better performance overall with whether that's hearing an ad and going to a site or downloading something or walking to a store or buying something, whatever that may be. The whole idea is to get better performance for brands so they can better utilize their budgets.